Welcome in, Renegades, and today we are live with episode 3 of Taking Over the World with ICP Hubs on the Internet Computer, ICP. Now, I would like to welcome my guest, Shahir, and we're going to just have him introduce himself. Hi, Shahir, how are you?
Hey, how are you doing, man? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no problem. So I just kind of want you to introduce yourself, give us a little background on where you came from, and a little bit about how you came to ICP Hubs.
All right, the journey to ICP is pretty long, but I'm Shahir. I'm the hub leader for ICP South Africa, and we kind of cover Southern Africa as well. We have a spoke in Zambia. My journey is kind of a weird one. I spent 10 years in the military a while back, and I got into crypto in 2019, and I ended up crossing over from my medical military background into crypto. Then we did a bit of advisory and helping out projects around the globe. And about 12 months ago, we were asked to handle South Africa. I'm from South Africa, live in South Africa.
Okay.
And we started last September. It's actually almost our anniversary. Maybe we'll have an event for that. But yeah, I mean, I've been involved with projects, trying to help projects get into accelerators, funding, advisory, all sorts of things. So when ICP called, I saw it as an awesome opportunity to build the ecosystem, especially in South Africa, because we have kind of a disjointed Web3 community. There's like pockets of really great stuff, but for the most part, Africa is more highly focused on crypto payments, cross-border, USDT, Bitcoin, etc. But on the Web3 startup front, there's a lot that still needs to happen. So I was pretty excited to get involved, and it's been a cool ride with ICP, and it helps to have ICP on your chest when you walk around. It really opens doors and stuff. But yeah, we'll get into it. There's some interesting things happening.
Yeah, so you were working with Web3 projects before this, or just traditional?
No, I went straight to Web3. I don't have much experience on the Web2 side. Web3 and crypto is an entirely different kind of, I suppose on the startup side and raising capital side, if you're doing the equity route, it's kind of similar. But once you talk about tokenization and stuff, there's no degree, or it's the university of hard knocks and just learning, just spending time in the space. So
Right.
I mean, I had a bit of imposter syndrome for a while. I still have a bit of it, but
Well, I can relate to that, man. I can, yeah. I used to feel that same way. You know, it just takes time to
Yeah.
find your place, and that's what I love about ICP Hubs, is because there's no way an American, hub could make an impact that much in Africa or South Africa or anywhere in the globe. So that's one thing I think the internet computer has above all other blockchains, is this regional approach where there's different laws. So you get people that are from that area that can navigate the laws, that can, navigate the people, the universities, wherever you guys are, recruiting people for the internet computer. So give us a little bit of detail on what you are doing, and kind of where you guys are planning to go in the next couple of months.
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head there, because the localized program that ICP has created, it's created so much of value that you wouldn't get, because most of the layer ones that entered South Africa either come in for a hackathon, or they get a local partner, and they do one sort of event or a hackathon and they're out.
Right.
But me being from South Africa, having 12 months to build relationships, get partnerships, be at every event that I can be at, speaking events from like a wide variety, Web3, Web2, enterprise, government, all of these things. It really gives the hub an opportunity, or ICP an opportunity to really get entrenched within the space and really develop some of the partnerships and MOUs we've signed have taken like 6 months. So it's the localized thing has been really awesome. And me being from South Africa, I know which parts of South Africa are more
Right.
tech focused, which, like, where do I allocate resources?
Right, like
Because at
you
the
were
end,
saying that it's kind of like sectionized, so you have to go to the right area because you want the people that are going to actually be building Web3, and
exactly,
doing
yeah.
that instead of all the cross-border stuff, which you can do with ICP now because of CKUSDT. So if like a lot of people are trying to get in with the USDT cross-border payments, I think Chainkey USDT would, or USDC, would,
USDC, right? Yeah.
yeah, would be the one to push for that kind of engagement.
Yeah, 100%. Look, in South Africa itself, I would say the cross-border, South Africa has a really strong financial system, one of the best. So it's more, I think, the Nigerian aspects, um, other aspects of Africa that do a lot of Bitcoin and stuff. Although South Africa is up there, but our financial system is really strong, so we don't see a lot of the out of traditional finance stuff
Gotcha.
happening. Yeah. So to get to your question in terms of what we've done, I mean, obviously the first thing we did was capacity building, right? Developer education, hackathons. And then we also wanted, my main aim as a South African and someone who's representing a really powerful blockchain protocol, I wanted to be the guy who propels South African blockchain startups on the global level. So what we did was I used some of my contacts from my previous work, and we set up relationships with accelerators and just ecosystem partners, so that whoever comes into the space has a kind of launch pad into the broader markets. One of the issues that African startups have, and I don't want to go into the cliched stuff, but venture capital is really difficult to kind of get in the South African space. So even if there's really good startups, a lot of them register their companies maybe, and they're advised to register their companies outside South Africa, even though the offices are here, so that it's easier to get VC approval. So we obviously done hackathons. We did events, a lot of events, and a lot of partnerships and kind of underground work in terms of getting to the Web3 community, speaking to them, understanding who's there, what's the type of projects, and really building the trust in the region. And then earlier this year, we also did an education masterclass with representatives from 5 governments. That was a collaboration between South Africa and Kenya. I can't even remember. I think it was Ghana, obviously South African representatives, Rwanda. I can't even remember, but it was 5 governments. We did that with our partner UABA, United Africa Blockchain Association, and so we focused on a wide variety of things, all the way from developer education to giving grants to hackathon winners or startups. And then also on my side, I love the BD aspect, speaking to projects and onboarding projects. And we recently closed a company called Moment. Moment won South African Blockchain Company of the Year, and they're widely regarded as Africa's #1 blockchain startup.
Okay.
So Outlier Ventures are one of the investors, and they've got a couple of other good investors as well. So we've just onboarded them, and as I mentioned, the ecosystem aspect, we've now put them in a Dubai accelerator. I can't say we put them, but we set that up, and they're now in the Dubai accelerator, and
Cool.
hopefully ICP will be seeing a TGE sometime before the end of the year. I don't know if you want to hear about the project. I'm happy to talk about it. I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, I mean, it
Yeah,
sounds interesting already. So yeah,
yeah,
just delve into
yeah.
that a little more.
Yeah, so it's called Moment. So one of the big issues in third world countries is load shedding, right? Where power gets, I don't know if you guys have experienced this, but power just goes off like for
Okay.
3 or 4 hours or 5 hours a day.
I
And
mean,
then obviously,
rarely, but yeah.
yeah. So like India, your third world countries have this issue of load shedding. And one of the obvious counters to that is solar, right? And so these guys are a real world assets platform that tokenize solar panels. And because linking up to ICP blockchain, you can actually track the data through IoT devices. You can track the data, track the amount of energy, and essentially they've turned it into a DeFi project. So you can invest, say, 100K, and they'll go out, put out the solar panels, which is a good fundamental. They're solving a major problem in the country. And the yield from the energy coming out of the solar panel will give the investor 12% of return. It's a DeFi project essentially. And the really cool thing is the 100K that you put in, you get 125% back tax when you're doing your tax returns. So you get a reimbursement of 125%, and that they have across 160 countries, which is super awesome. And then they also have a platform where they'll be onboarding other different. This is like, so solar panels is one particular product, and then any other products that come on board can be integrated into the system, and investors can come in and get a yield, not out of thin air, but it's actual real world tokenized assets that's on the ground somewhere. And it's a 20-year contract. Super excited about this project. Yeah, I was just talking to the founder. I mean, they have some really exciting things coming up beyond what I've spoken about, but I can't mention, obviously.
And
so,
this is,
yeah.
Sorry, this is built on the internet computer?
It's they transitioning at their last lap currently.
Okay,
yeah.
nice.
But they've been,
so it's called Moment?
MOMINT.
Moment. Okay, nice.
Moment.so is and they've got about $5 or $6 million worth of real world assets on chain already, which is coming to ICP, which is cool.
From Solana.
They've been running for a while. I think it was Polygon.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's some cool projects. So in South Africa, we have some really high level projects, and then a lot of the grasswork stuff has been really your university students really onboarding people from Web 2 to Web 3. So there's a bit of a gap there.
Right.
But it is what it is, and it's our duty to kind of fill that gap and get more people involved. And there's a couple other projects that are out there that's really exciting. But yeah, I don't want to take up your time with all the projects. Yeah.
No, I love it, man.
Unless you want to hear about it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we need to hear about these new projects, man. Like that's something that when I talk with people behind the scenes or even on videos, we're always looking for the next project that we can ape into or, support the ecosystem either way, whatever type of project. And this seems like one that could actually have some real world use case. And so, yeah, definitely let us know any more projects. So you guys go check out Moment, by the way, MOMINT, Moment.
.so. Yeah. So let me tell you about Earthstream. Earthstream never came through the hub, but the hub is supporting them. They actually won one of our sponsored hackathons, or they came out in the top 3. But they were working with ICP beforehand. The lead dev loves ICP. So this is really cool. It's, if you imagine what Helium is, right? You know the project Helium?
Yeah.
So it's Helium for agri-tech.
Okay.
And so one of the issues in Africa is proof of data and verifiable data. So you would have a lot of small farmers that can't verify the quality of their crop, right? So they have to sell it at maybe below market price. So they've created a IoT device that can link up to ICP's blockchain, and the IoT device has the ability to collect data from the soil. It also can collect data in the entire region, right? And you don't need internet. You just need internet at some point. So every 10 kilometers, these devices without the internet can link up to each other. And at some point, if you have an internet connection, it will upload all the data to the blockchain.
Okay.
So what this does is going to transform agri-tech by your small farmers being able to actually prove that the quality of their crops have a certain level. And whenever you have verifiable data and strong, blockchain data, right, which is tamper-proof, you are able to kind of prove what you have, and that will obviously bring in investors. And then there are other projects that are linking up farmers
Right.
with outside investors. So if you have the data, you can get in much better yields, much better prices. It's going to really be transformative for Africa. Agri-tech is a huge market on the blockchain side within Africa. So there's a lot of exciting things for me as an African guy that I feel can really impact. And with ICP, the really awesome thing is that they want projects that are going to make a difference, that have good fundamentals, have real world use cases.
I
So
agree.
is it so? And also ICP blockchain, with no disrespect to anybody else, can handle that type of really good high volume, high transaction volume
Yeah.
projects.
Yeah, it can scale the highest out of any blockchain out there. I mean, it's literally like 3 to 6,000 blocks per second. So, I mean, this could be a real world everyday use case. Like I say all the time, I think we're going to use ICP technology like every day, like we use the internet in like 5, 10 years. So,
Yeah.
like these projects are the foundation of what ICP is building. I love that you support those projects. That's another thing that ICP Hubs that I want to tell my audience are doing. They don't only do global outreach, but like you said, they do incubator. They support other projects, giving them access from South Africa to Dubai, or the United UE, like wherever that they are going and doing these things. It's big. So I really appreciate what you guys are doing. Is there any hackathons, events that you guys are holding in South Africa coming up that you want to tell people about, and get them ready for it to learn about ICP, to develop whatever it is you're doing?
Yeah, so I mean, we just completed a hackathon at it was a Africa Future Summit in Zambia. We just completed that 2 day, but it's rolling on, and we're doing one with Africa Blockchain Club as well. Those are more internal things. If anyone wants to reach out in terms of the education aspect in the boot camp and join on, they're welcome to DM me on Twitter or LinkedIn.
And
But
what can they find you at on Twitter and LinkedIn?
so Twitter is ICP Hub _ ZA,
Okay,
and then
so
LinkedIn
straight to
it's
the hub. All right.
and then LinkedIn you can DM me Shahir Karim, KARRIM. I don't want to forget something. You were speaking about accelerators. The other really awesome thing for our projects, so even Moment and Earthstream and all the projects will be put into Olympus. Have you heard of Olympus?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Olympus is really, really, really powerful. I think that's one of the most powerful Web3 community driven accelerators. So it's 40 regions collecting all resources, all VCs, all projects. I've never seen anything like it, where it's such a global and community effort. And I think the opportunity for projects right now in South Africa and globally is to get into that Olympus program, because some of the stuff that's coming out of there and the partners and the collaborations are really, really powerful. So even though we have Moment in the other accelerator, they'll still be able to come into Olympus and gain the benefit because they're an ICP project. And I think in the next 3 to 6 months, we're going to see an explosion of excitement with Olympus. I'm
I
super
can't
as a
wait.
crypto dude, as a crypto guy. I'm super pumped for that. It's I don't think anyone's seen anything as consolidated and comprehensive and wide in terms of regions, and like there's so many different communities. Like Philippines has such a different vibe, US has such a different vibe, South Africa has a different vibe, Nigeria has a different vibe, China has a different vibe. So it's all of that into one melting pot. I think it's going
Oh
to be
wow,
amazing for the crypto space. Yeah.
that sounds
Olympus
exciting,
is
man. I
yeah,
just
yeah,
can't
yeah,
believe that all of this can come together in such a way that, in 1 year, I think you said 12 months,
yeah.
ICP hubs have literally taken over the globe with what they have just done, education, outreach. I mean, tell me any other blockchain. Like I'm not an ICP maxi either. Like I'm a
Yeah,
Bitcoin
sure.
renegade. Like that's my roots is Bitcoin, and I love Ethereum. I'm not like a one chain to rule them all. But when I do
Cool.
my research, I've done content on ICP for over 3 years now, and I've researched just about everything there is, and I'm learning new stuff every single day because new stuff keeps happening. But the
Yeah.
impact that the ICP hubs have had in the last year has brought ICP to the forefront of crypto, and I think it's going to bring it to the top 5 by 2030. I really think ICP is on a road, and it wouldn't happen without you guys. So cheers to that. Salute to you, buddy.
No, I
No, I
appreciate
love it
that, man.
though.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Thanks. Yeah, I mean, it is kind of fascinating when you kind of look at the map and you see the 37 regions. It's quite a feat, and quite an accomplishment from the adoption team. It's it's it's
Right.
it's revolutionary. And I think the 12 months for me has been more of a base. I think building on that base now, consolidating is um, that's kind of what's happening. And I think Olympus is going to be that next push that really
We're
brings it
gonna
all
we're gonna be
together.
talking about that more now.
Yeah.
I need to put that in my notes real quick because if what you're saying is correct, we really need to keep our eye on Olympus.
Yeah, Olympus essentially is bringing it all together. You know.
So what are your guys' plans to support other projects in your region? Are you incubating any projects right now besides the ones you've already mentioned? And what plans do you have a goal to say, hey, let's incubate 10 projects this year? Is there any kind of set goal for that?
Yeah, so there's two pipelines. There's the BD pipeline, which is your more mature projects
Okay.
that you onboard and either they haven't started development and you get them to develop an ICP or they move over from another chain. And then there's the hackathon projects. So in countries where the Web3 ecosystems are, like they have senior Web3 developers,
Right.
those hackathons can produce some mature projects and mature ideas that can go on. Whereas I would say our region is 90% people are either just onboarded to Web3 or coming from Web2 to Web3. So our hackathon projects are looked at more as a long-term thing,
Okay.
whereas other regions, so on the BD pipeline, I think 5 to 10 projects. I think if every hub, 20 or 30 hubs or 40 hubs can get about 10 projects, 5 to 10 projects, depending on the region. Some regions are more focused on other things. Like projects
Right.
may not be the major focus. Like for us, we have a focus um, on not not really enterprise but institutional in terms of um, there's a lot of development on the entrepreneurial aspect and building the startup ecosystem within Africa as a whole. So it's a really good opportunity for us to get ICP there and say, look, let's do it on the blockchain front. There's a lot of excitement. We just announced a partnership today with After Young Entrepreneur. It's a very long thing. After Young Entrepreneur Federation. So
Okay.
it's a federation. Have you heard of AFCFTA? No. So the African Union created this thing called the Africa Free Continental Trade Area. So like what Europe has, where everyone in Europe, you can trade freely within those borders. So it's cheaper, it's easier, you can cross borders, etc. So Africa doesn't have that. So after, which is what I mentioned, they call it after, but it's AFCFTA. They created this similar model where they want to open up borders and improve cross-border payments, cross-border supply chains, cross-border everything, just to facilitate and stimulate the economies within Africa. And so there's an entrepreneurship kind of arm that shot out from that unofficially. So we just signed up an MOU with them. So they span 30 different regions and they've got like tens of thousands of entrepreneurs. So we want to go there and talk about ICP. And there are people working on blockchain solutions, but there's a huge gap in Africa for development on that front.
Okay.
And yeah, it's wherever whichever continent or country you're looking at, the more traditional red tape there is, the harder it is for blockchain to get in. But when there's still uncertainty and the traditional aspects are not as solid, there's a really big opportunity for blockchain to come in and really because blockchain and ICP, it's community focused, right? So the blockchain will incentivize people to use their chain. So it's
Right.
a really good synergy in our regions in Africa for people to take matters into their own hand and build their own stuff and build their own their own communities. I think DAOs are going to play a huge role if they can sort out the whole tokenomics and get it right and execute it right. I think DAOs are going to be a huge factor in the world, but I think primarily in Africa, because the people work in smaller, tighter communities. So if they can get that right, and ICP is the perfect DAO protocol. So
Yeah, with
so
the
yeah,
SNS
I don't
framework,
know.
I mean, you can
Yeah,
raise funds and decentralize your project all at the same time. I think, and it can handle the capacity to run all of these DAOs too. So you have to look at all the, technical capabilities and stuff. But I do want to talk about one more thing before we go.
sure.
You said that you guys kind of do development and stuff in-house. And you did mention on LinkedIn for the ICP Hub, it mentions that you do have some developers working with you. Tell us a little bit about that on your team. Kind of explain what their roles are.
Yeah, so we have Enoch and Confidence. They are our two DevRel leads, and I was very fortunate to meet them. They were ICP grantees before I met them, and they were really solid at what they knew in terms of the development and stuff. So their mandate is essentially to run the hackathons, the bootcamps. They give one-on-ones. They're super committed and they're super competent at the
Nice.
ICP tech stack. So in our 10-day bootcamps, if people have issues, they get on a call like this, share your screen, how do we help, and they really teach the guys. And then wherever the hackathons are happening, whether it's online or in person, for example, they just got back from Zambia today and yesterday. So they do that. And then if there are any projects that need assistance, so if you onboard a project or if there's a hackathon project that's got a small grant to build up an MVP and get a business model going, they will help them out. For the most part, we try to support our projects fully. But if a project comes through and says, look, we're a business, or we just want to focus on like the business aspect of the project, can someone do the tech for us? Then they would have to pay our devs. And then what we're doing slowly is capacity building, whereas some of the hackathon students who are really good, or they're not necessarily interested in building a project themselves, but they like coding, they can come on board and support. So that's the long-term goal. So it's capacity building from the perspective of blockchain developers. So then hopefully when we get the government coming on board and there's things to integrate, we have the staff or the capacity to kind of say, look, we've got the developers. So it's a slow and methodical process. And the amazing thing about the Hubs network is that even if we didn't have that, we have a whole lot of developers all around the world that we can actually tap into resources. That's a really cool thing that we didn't highlight with the Hubs network. Like someone, I think the Hub leader from Thailand had a request for someone who does a particular skill, let me not say, and I knew someone here and I referred that person, and now they're giving a talk in Thailand. So
Nice. I love
so
that.
it's yeah. So that collaboration. I mean, this is what crypto is about, right? It's about community collaboration, and not relying on any, um, you know, I don't want to get political, but not relying on the powers that be to kind of uplift people. It's okay. Here's a blockchain protocol. There's a community. You can everything. All education is free. If you do well enough, you'll get a grant. If you fulfill the milestones properly, maybe you'll get more support,
Right.
or the ecosystem is going to help you raise money. That's what community is about, right? So we kind of cutting through the fluff and the bullshit, excuse my French,
Now you're
and
good.
all the rug pulls and all of that stuff, and saying, okay, let's be a community, let's build, let's make a difference. And it may take a bit longer. There may not be like a thousand X and equally a thousand rug pulls on ICP, but at the same time, it's sustainable growth with
Right.
good fundamentals that are making impact, and like moments revenue generating. It's a revenue generating company, so it's really doing things that like I feel like if I'm bringing moment to the ICP community, I'm quite confident that no one's going to tell me, fingers crossed. But I'm quite happy to say, like, look at this project. It's a good fundamental project. Have a look at it, as opposed to just throwing any crap out there.
Yeah. And a lot of the crap doesn't stick anyway. So, I mean, the good stuff lasts. You guys have already been around for a year. And the impact that you guys have made has been significant in the ecosystem. I know everybody who's in ICP knows about hubs. I know Crypto Wendio has supported the hubs. Other big influencers are starting to look at ICP. And I think it's big in part to your guys' impact that you've had. And so now I want to understand, because we talked about this with other projects on the channel. I'm not sure if ICP Hubs. I think we did talk with Javi about it, who was on the channel from ICP Hub USA. We also had Yana from Thailand on the channel too. So I kind of want to know about the regulatory clarity in your region, and is that something that the hubs navigate as well, being a big contributor to the internet computer in that region? Is there any difficulties that you've had, or anything that you guys are doing besides you were talking about the Africa Alliance thing? What are you guys doing to kind of get ready for regulatory framework for ICP in your region?
So you cut out there for a minute, but essentially you're asking me about the regulatory framework in South Africa, right?
Yes. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Okay. No problem. Yeah. So South Africa, in terms of crypto, there is a regulatory framework, and then on the Web3 startup aspect, using blockchain and tokenization, there's, I would say, an understanding of what's like. When you speak to Web3 lawyers, they would give you a kind of vague answer, but there are ways to do it. The hubs themselves don't necessarily, like, we don't have a token or anything. We're more of an education platform and a kind of accelerator of the ecosystem. So we don't really touch any of the points in terms of breaking regulations and stuff. And with the projects themselves, we have ecosystem partners that are on the legal side that we just refer them over, but we don't have any equity in the projects and stuff. So I mean, the first batch of crypto licenses in terms of exchanges and stuff were just released just released this year, which is pretty exciting. And on the Web3 front, as I mentioned, there's no actual, to my knowledge, a framework, but there is guidance. So you need to go to a legal team, and they would kind of guide you. It's more about not doing certain things rather than doing certain things. So you can carry on. Yeah.
Okay, so I kind of wanted to know, like, with the projects that you guys are helping develop and stuff,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that might have been a little unclear. With the
Okay.
like the projects, are you getting them ready to like? Are you like setting up lawyers for them to talk to? I know you said that it would be better to register outside, of Africa to get that VC funding, or South Africa. So how are you guys getting your incubated projects, your hackathon winners? How are you getting them ready to deal with that regulatory
Yeah.
stuff?
So I mean, we take a position of not really wanting to get too involved in those type of things. It's their own thing. We're supporting them. They're using
Okay.
our blockchain, but within the community, there's quite a few. There's a couple lawyers, and we basically say, look, here's a contact. It's up to you. Like if you want to do your own thing, it's like if we have to get involved with the legal stuff, it will be a nightmare. So
Okay. So you just kind of let them deal with. Okay, gotcha.
yeah, it's their project. They're using ICP, and um, it's a decentral. Anyone can plug in and do their thing. We're not giving them permission, nor are we giving them we're not signing a document. So
Right.
yeah, I mean you can't control what a startup's going to do anyway. So you don't want to be like legally you know associated. We just kind of help. We're an ecosystem, and people can benefit from that.
Right.
Yeah,
Cool. We have a question from the audience here. Where can I get
sure.
that sweatshirt?
Oh, I love this sweatshirt. Yeah.
I love it too. I love hoodies. Where can you get it though? On the Definity shop?
I actually don't know. This is my personal one that I print. I print and give out at events and stuff. Um, but I don't know. Maybe we can do a giveaway the next time. I don't know, where are you in the US?
I'm in Colorado right now, actually.
Okay, it might be cheaper just to print it there
Right?
and give
Yeah.
it out to people. Yeah, yeah. I mean, this is just our own stuff for our team and for like giveaways and stuff. So it depends where you are. I mean, if you're in South Africa, you need one for your wife. Okay. All right.
Yep. If you go to South Africa, he's got you. If not, it'd be cheaper. Probably just to print it. I mean, you could
Yeah.
literally go to like the mall or something, to one of those print shops, and just have them just quickly do that. You bring in like what you want, they can do that for you. But
I think you can get the logo properly from the Definity website. I think
oh
it's
yeah, it's
Definity
everywhere.
logos.
You
Yeah.
could get it
Yeah.
basically anywhere online. But yeah, Definity website. I think even their Twitter handle, you could get it. I mean, you could get it just about anywhere. So,
Yeah, but I
but
think the proper specs is somewhere on the website. Like you can actually get
oh,
the
okay,
proper the
nice.
proper file. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I think we're gonna call it. We're about 40 minutes
Yeah.
into this. It was a pleasure having you. Sorry, my cat's making noise here.
No
But
worries.
we want to have you back on the channel maybe in a couple of months, or six
Yeah, that'll be
months
cool.
or 3 months. I don't know. Whenever you guys are doing something cool, if you're doing like a hackathon that's open to the public and you want to bring people in, or just talk about your project, let us know what's going on with Moment .soul, and just kind of update us on what you guys are doing in your region at that time.
All right. It's moment.so. So not so.
SO, not soul.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's not a Solana project.
That's what I thought it was soul. I was like, it's not soul, but it's
Yeah.
not SOL. I don't know.
S-O, that's so, yeah.
SO, moment.so.
Maybe
What?
we'll get Moment on soon, so we can get a proper deep dive. And Earthstream. I'll set that up if you're keen to chat to the
Yeah,
projects. Yeah.
that would be awesome. So it's right here, moment.so. All right,
Yeah.
guys. That being said, goodbye and good ICP. Bang!
Thanks. Thanks.